What is up, guys? John with Gaming Through the Decades here, and we are back with another video. And this one I'm going to talk about just a few things that I've been thinking about lately. The first is, are we collecting too much clutter when it comes to these retro games? Is really having this many physical copies of games, if you're just going to play your games, does it make any sense? And I'm also going to talk about why I feel collecting for the N64 for me personally is just a waste of time and a waste of money. Now, for me personally, I grew up with a PlayStation, I grew up with a Sega, I grew up with a Nintendo. In fact, I'm looking at them right now. And I don't have any nostalgia for the 64. Like, my friends had a 64, and I always kind of wanted a 64 because, you always want what you didn't have as a kid. So, I always kind of wanted one, but PlayStation was kind of where my heart was. Now, as I got older, I got a 64, and I played a few games like the one you're seeing, Mario 64, F-Zero, Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart 64, and I enjoyed them. But you know what? As I, have a collection, and as I collect the things that I'm nostalgia for, I really don't see a purpose really to collect for the 64, and I'm going to just kind of go over a few reasons. Number one, I've always said 5th gen has not aged well. I mean, and this goes for PlayStation as well, so 64 games especially, for me, are hard to go back to and hard to play. And graphics plays a big role, the wonky analog stick. So, it's hard to go back to that, even playing on a CRT. And, the 64 was known for that blurred effect. And recently I got rid of my 64. I actually sold my entire 64 collection, which wasn't very big. It was probably 10 games, and of those games I had, I literally almost never played them. And honestly, I played more via emulation, again, which is what you're seeing on the screen. And as you can see, guys, the emulation on 64 is like super clear. I mean, guys, look at the pixels. Look at how clear Mario is. It just looks so much better upscaled, and that anti-aliasing blur isn't there that you have on the original 64. So for me personally, it really is a waste of money, especially with 64 prices. There's no reason why these games should cost 50, 60 bucks. I mean, the cheap commons are 30, 40 bucks, which is crazy because you look at, like, okay, Mario 64, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Perfect Dark, GoldenEye, Star Fox. These games are available. Better versions of these games are available on the Xbox and the DS. You have the Rare Replay. There's you have the Zelda games on the GameCube. There's so many remasters of these games. Unless I have nostalgia for 64, for me personally, I don't think it's worth my time or money collecting for that specific console. Now, if you're someone who collects for the 64 because you're a completionist and you want to complete the collection, or you grew up with the 64 and you really enjoy owning those games physically, that's totally awesome. Like, I get it. Like, I have a Genesis, I have a Nintendo, I have a Sony PlayStation. But at the same time, I am the type of person who tries to really just limit the size of my collection for a few reasons. Number one, I just don't think it's practical for my situation. I only have so much. Actually, I have a lot of room. If I wanted to, this room is probably about, I don't know, 400 square feet. Yeah, probably about 400 square feet if I had to guess. So it's a pretty large room. If I really wanted to, I could deck this room out. Is the wife going to let me? Probably not. But, I have the room, but at the same time, I don't want clutter. And that's kind of going to get me into my next point, is as gamers. Now, as collectors, I'm not really talking to the collectors here. I'm talking to the gamers. And yes, I differentiate between the two. I think someone who collects is just somebody who is simply just collecting to have a room full of games, to look at the games every now and then. They go into their game room and, oh, look at this game, pull it off the shelf, look at it, and never play it. And then you have your collector gamer, who I think a collector gamer is someone who might have a smaller collection, and but actually plays their games. So they might buy 5 games, but they're gonna play all 5 games. So the collector gamer, and then you have just your regular gamers who just want to play games, and they don't care how they play it, whether it be emulation, EverDrives, reproductions, original hardware, you know. But it just got me thinking recently, as I got rid of my 64, is why put myself through the trouble of waiting to find a game, waiting to, save up $50 for a specific game, when I can just download an emulator, or I can, save up maybe $100 and get a EverDrive cart. It just makes so much more sense now that I think about it. Like, I have games I want. Like, I have Super Mario 3. I have all the Sonics. I have Altered Beast. I have a lot of games. I have my collection's not very big. It's probably around 350 games, but at the same time, it's games I want. It's games I want to play. So I think sometimes as gamers, we focus too much on we have to have, so many games. Like, we have to have a huge, massive collection. But in reality, guys, I just want to play my games. I want to, if I want to show off my collection, I'll stream. Like, that's what I do. When you guys see me stream, like, sometimes I'm actually playing games from my collection. Usually if I'm streaming, PS2, PS1, Dreamcast, original Xbox, those are games from my collection. Anything Nintendo, Genesis, 64, that's all emulation because it's easy to emulate. And obviously I don't have a 64, as I just said. But I think moving forward, I'm really going to focus on the games that I actually want. Like, games I want for my collection. I'm going to put a lot of time and thought into. I think I might move more towards the EverDrive. Way to go. I definitely want to get an EverDrive for my Master System, because that's a console that there's so many games on there that I've never played, but at the same time I don't want to wait to find a game to spend 20 or 30 bucks. I can just emulate it, see if I like it, or I could get an EverDrive. That way I'm playing on the original hardware, because I'll be honest with you, 16-bit, 32-bit, 8-bit, all that stuff, man, I love playing on a CRT. So I don't want to sound like I'm on here, and I'm just, against, you gotta, I'm not talking bad about the people that want to play on original hardware, because in the end, I think if you're enjoying your games and you're enjoying everything that you're doing with your collecting, I say go for it, but I say at the same time, let's focus on playing the game so much, as in, don't worry about having such a huge collection behind you. You guys see a blank wall behind me. So that's my message, guys. Focus on playing the games. Focus on enjoying the game. Sitting down for, an hour. Focus on that. If you have a YouTube channel, make it so your making videos doesn't overcome your actual game time. This video will take me as long as it takes me to sit here and talk to you and then upload. So that's why I changed the format, because I wanted to spend my time gaming. But yeah, guys, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Was, are we collecting too much clutter? Are we putting too much emphasis on physical games when we can play them on other platforms and just enjoy them just as much, whether it be through a collection on the Xbox 360, on the Xbox, any type of disc compilation or EverDrive or emulation? And then, I think for me personally, a console that I don't have to own, that I don't have to collect for, that might be a waste of my time and my money, would be the Nintendo 64. So I want to know what maybe something you don't feel the urge to collect for, that you might be okay with just maybe emulating, guys. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this little vlog here, and until the next video, guys, well, we'll see you on the next video.